Pianda, good evening. I just want to update you on a few things. My name is Linda Joyce-Jones. First of all, the Animal Circus petition. As you know, this is a devolved matter in Cymru, Wales. The Petitions Committee will be discussing Jane, Kirsty and my petition tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, 9:15, I think the meeting starts. So please join in. You can find the link on Senedd TV. There's another matter I want to talk to you about. Today I went into a charity shop in Porthmadog and I found this. And this happens. You take the shapes out and it leaves a little hole. When I saw this, it was on a bookshelf actually, and I did that. And then I totally humiliated myself because this happened. The lady in the shop knew instantly what had happened, and she came over to me and she gave me a hug. And then I had to get a tissue and sit me down because of course it reminded me of Rosa. I don't really know why. I think it's because when the pieces are removed, that's sometimes how I feel. That's how grief makes you feel sometimes, isn't it? And that's how it got me. I feel ashamed that I'm like this because of a cat, when there's so many other things going on in the world. But I can't change the way I feel. There we go. And I'm very grateful to the lady, to Gwen, who knew instantly. Thank you for your kindness. You always meet kind people when you really need them. Yesterday I heard that a lady here in North Wales who lives near Rhyl had approached 5 different vets to see her cat. Her cat is insured. Vets now, otherwise known as independent vet care, wanted £167 to treat that lady's cat. Wouldn't take on board that that lady's cat was insured. That lady today travelled all the way to Ellesmere Port to see a vet. I want to read you some words. Okay, this is from a vet's code of conduct as laid out by the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. Declaration on admission to the profession. I promise and solemnly declare that I will pursue the work of my profession with integrity and accept my responsibilities to the public. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to get a tissue. Forgive me. Accept my responsibilities to the public, my clients, the profession, and the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, and, in capital letters, above all, my constant endeavour will be to ensure the health and welfare of animals committed to my care. That's their code of conduct. I'm now going to read you some other words. This is a guy called Robin Hargreaves. When he wrote these words, he was the president of the British Veterinary Association. He said these words to an inquiry the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons did on out-of-hours provision in 2013. Okay, wait for this. However, many younger members of the profession have a disproportionate fear about the risks of getting into trouble with the Royal College. The RCVS needs to keep repeating the message that any vet who can justify their own decision-making process will not have to face a disciplinary inquiry. Mr. Hargreaves now heads the CVS group in the UK. Below there is a comment from a man called Tim Davis, who was the veterinary director then of the CVS group. Some members of the public do read the guide and are prepared to use that knowledge to put pressure on veterinary staff. Interesting. Perhaps he meant a guide to professional conduct. That's actually dated 2010. Okay, because the code of veterinary of the college precedes this. But this has about as much weight as the paper it's written on. So, of course, Tim is a bit out of date in what he says. I read common things like this, and I also read the Animal Welfare Act. I was one of those people that got the Animal Welfare Act on the books. I campaigned for years to have that on the books to protect our animals. And here we have the veterinary profession letting down animals and refusing to treat them even when they have got insurance. Rosa didn't have insurance because her vets carried out tests without my knowledge, without my permission, and she tested she tested positive for FIV. I've all her clinical records here, which I will leave another time. The veterinary practice, the veterinary profession, the veterinary industry now in the UK talk about their mental health. Say how strained they are. Could be to do with the fact that they work for corporate companies like Independent Vet Care, who own vets now, who were responsible for the death of my Rosa. They now run the only veterinary practice in Carnarvon, called Kibbin Veterinary Clinic. But they don't think about the mental health of their owners much, do they? When they have to live with the knowledge that they euthanized their pets when the vets didn't reveal what was in their clinical notes or what in fact they did to them under anaesthetic for an x-ray. This Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons has about as much integrity as the animal welfare charity in England and Wales that also bears the R. This has got to stop. It's not going to make headlines that this cat had to be travelled all the way to Ellesmere Port, is it? If that was a person that had been turned down by 5 hospitals or 5 GP practices, can you imagine the headlines, even in Wales, with our health service at a crunch point? Our animals deserve better. And I just hope that those vets that refuse treatment for that cat can live with themselves. I know I did all my best, all I could do for Rosa, and that's what keeps me going. But sometimes the pieces please sign my petition calling for an independent ombudsman for the veterinary profession. And don't you dare, any vet in the UK, tell me that we don't need it. Like one vet on social media said, your petition won't bring Rosa back. Thanks very much for your compassion. Diolch yn fawr.